Hello YouTube, it's Rob, Maxwells Grass Cutting Services based in the northeast of England. I hope everybody is well and having a great day. It's 5 o'clock and I've just finished, so thought I'd park up and have a little catch up and share a little story with you and a little bit of anxiety I've been feeling as a result of this story. And it's 20 plus degrees in the north today, and I've had the Honda HRX 476 out, the rear roller, first time this year because it's been so wet. I haven't had it out. I've just been using the HRX 537 four-wheeler and the still, because the ground's been soaking and the grass has been up there, and the 19-inch would have struggled. But today it's worked beautiful and it's laid down some stripes, and a few of the customers have come out and said how nice it looks. I thought, don't get used to it. But anyway, now it's this time of year when the sun starts to shine, I get anxiety. The last 3 years this has happened to me, right? And the first year I dealt with it badly. The next 2 years I dealt with it canny. And I've discussed it on the channel before, and I've had some mixed reviews of how I've dealt with it. Some people think I dealt with it badly. Some people, you know, agree with my way of dealing with it. And I'll explain, bear with me. Now, because it's so hot today, I've had my sun cream on and it's brought back those feelings. And I'll tell you what happened. I had a customer, and we'll call her Betty. And Betty was a lovely old lady, apart from being as tight as that, right? And Betty had another name. It's Can You Just, Rob, right? Every time you go, there'd be a hydrangea. And all I was paid to do was mow the front garden, the back garden, trim the edges, leaf blow it, and then I used to double cut it. I think that people call it mow, blow and go in a derogatory term, right? You teach a monkey to mow a lawn. Well, fair enough. Anyway, so this monkey used to go and mow, blow and go for the sum of £35, and it used to take me just over an hour. Now, if a husband was to do it with his Argos mower, I think he'd take about 3 hours. So Betty was getting good value. It was a hard graft, right, with professional machines. And I used to leave the waste in a bin, and every time it would fill the bin up. So you know you've done a good hour plus graft. And Betty was happy with that. But Betty always used to leave, Can You Just, there'd be a little tray of bedding plants and there'd be a little hydrangea, or there'd be something to do. And in the end, I used to say, Betty, I'm only getting paid to do the lawn. I says, if you want me to do a little bit of maintenance, I don't mind, I'll give you a price. Oh, no, no, no. But Betty never minded me doing the lawn at the beginning of the season for £35 when it was like that. And then you'd struggle to get on top of it April, May, June, and then July we'd have some nice warm weather and it wouldn't grow as much, would it? Still needed a cut, but not in Betty's eyes. So Betty rang me and said, Rob, is it okay if we just leave the lawn this week, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll miss a cut, because I don't think it needs cutting. It hasn't grown very much. Well, I said, not really, Betty. I said, I priced the job for 16 cuts approximately. Sometimes you might lose a cut because I go on holiday, or because the weather, it's soaking wet, or if it gets so hot like it nearly did last year in the northeast, but it didn't. I know it did down south, where the lawn doesn't need cutting, but Betty, it does need cutting, and if I leave it a month, it'll be up there, and also I'll lose a week's money. Oh, she says. And I said, Betty, I said, we've known each other a few years now. I said, imagine I've got 50 customers on my books. And I said, what happened if every one of them said, just don't bother coming this week? I said, I wouldn't have any money for that month. I'd lose a month's wages. Now, I appreciate that certain times I might need to cut it in clement weather. But just because you think it might not need it, and it probably does, and I understand you might want to save a few pounds, but that's not in the spirit of the quote and in the spirit of how things should happen. And she said, let me speak to my husband and I'll get back to you. No problem, Betty. Take care. She did get back to me, and she said, Rob, I don't want you to come this time. I look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. And she gave me the date. So that would have meant I lost a cut and it would have been 4 weeks. Now, I had options how to deal with that. I could have said, no problem, Betty, but it'll be £70 next time I turn up. Or I could have just bit the bullet and just cracked on and lost the cut. But I didn't. I let her go. And I said, Betty, I said, I'm sorry, but I'm not happy with this. But I totally understand it from your point of view. I'm not going to be able to look after your garden anymore. Thanks very much for all the work over the last few years. Take care. Bang. Gone. And I never heard from her until beginning of this season. I get a call from her and I didn't answer the call. Hello, Rob. It's Betty. I just wondered if you'd give me a quote to look after my garden this year, please. The gardener from last year, he's let me down. Is that code word for he wasn't very good, or he got fed up with it, or whatever? I don't know. And I just sent her a polite message back. I don't have a list of all bad customers because I haven't had that many. But I've got the few I've had, they're in my brain, you know. And I just thought, there's better customers out there. I'm not having it. And if they treat you bad once, it's their fault. If they treat you bad twice, it's your fault for allowing it to happen. So I just sent a polite message. I'm really sorry. I'm not in a position to help you, but I wish you well. And off she went. Now, that's happened to me a couple of times before, and I haven't dealt with it as robustly as that. But I did a video, I think it was either last year or the year before, and some of the advice I got was, get rid of them. If they take a lend then, they'll take a lend again. And I was pleased I was robust because I replaced Betty very, very quickly, as you do. And yeah, I moved on. But every time it gets to this time of year, it's not as, well, it's usually a bit later in the year, probably about August time. But today's weather's been 25 plus in the northeast of England. And I've been sweating, I've had sun cream. It just brings the memories back, doesn't it? And I wonder, what if am I going to be 4 years in a row? Am I going to get another customer this year? But my message today, don't allow greedy customers to mess you about. If you get a customer who's been a little bit temperamental with you, get rid of them in a heartbeat. You'll feel a lot better up there, and you will replace them. I don't know about you, but my phone is ringing off the hook, and I'm not being big-headed. I'm full. I don't want any more work. I'm full with garden maintenance now until the end of October. I'm not working in the first week of November because I'm going to Soltex, so I'm having that week off, the Soltex week. And then I've got week work booked in after that, leaf clearances, and then a little bit of hedge work. That takes me up till December. And then I've got nothing booked in December, but something will turn up. And then January and February next year, I'll advertise one-off garden tidy-ups with Ian, my pal. And then March, you start again. So I don't need any more customers. But I'm getting 10, sometimes 15 calls a day. I've filled Ian's books. I've sent him all the work, and he said, Rob, I don't want any more. I'm full, thank you. So I've got another pal who has got his own gardening business, and I send him the work, and he can either take it on or he can just politely refuse. But I've never known anything like it. And I think it's because of the wet weather and then the warm weather. The grass has gone like that, and everybody just tried to get on it with their electric 50 quid special mowers, and they just can't do it. Or they've just, I don't know, has there been a lot of gardeners retired? I've got no idea, but for some reason my phone is ringing. I've never known anything like it. What's yours like? It can't be just mine or the northeast, but we're supposed to be in a recession, aren't we? I think that's, I'm not sure we are. I know we've got a cost of living crisis, but there's still people who want the gardens done, that's for sure. But today's video, don't let anybody mess you about. It'll upset you. You'll think about it from, you know, before you go to bed, when you wake up, and it's better just to deal with it. Get rid of them. And the easiest way to get rid of a customer is a nice, polite text message, and just send it, and it does the job. And you'll replace them, as I replaced Betty very, very quickly with a lovely customer. Same type of job, to be honest, a mow, blow and go, £35, in and out in about 55 minutes, hard graft. I don't just do mow, blow and goes, you know. I've got loads of garden maintenance work. And I'm sorry I haven't videoed any recently. If you're like me, you're up to there, you know. You're not getting into 5:30, 6 o'clock at night. I've then got to empty the van, put everything away. By the time I get showered down for a cup of tea and a bit of tea, I'm exhausted. I am not getting any younger. But there you go. That's today's video. Don't let greedy customers mess you about. It's not worth it, right? It's definitely not worth it. Oh, I've got a joke to tell you, right? Obviously, you don't know me, but I like telling jokes. I tell my wife joke. I tell her a joke every day, and I tell her I love her every day, and I give her a hug, right? And she gets a bit fed up of my jokes, right? But I think I'm quite funny. She doesn't. She thinks, Rob, you're not funny. But I make her smile. And if you make somebody smile, I think you're winning, right? So here goes. Guy walks into a doctor's. He said, "Doctor, I want to present as a moth." The doctor says, "You want to present as a moth?" And the guy goes, "Yeah. Some men present as women. They dress as a woman. Some women present as men and they dress as a man." And the doctor says, "I'm well aware of that. I've been in the medical profession for over 30 years. But you said you want to present as a moth." He said, "I do." And the doctor says, "I'm sorry, I can't help you. What you need to do is go 4 doors down." He says, "A colleague of mine, he's a psychiatrist. He'll help you." The guy says, "Well, I was on my way there, but I saw that your light was on." Now that's funny. That is funny. If I made you smile, I'm happy. Remember, when the green gold's growing, keep mowing. Take care. See you next time. I saw your light was on.